We appreciate you signing up for our 2024 WhistleStop Candidate Hobnob. By purchasing this video interview, you have allowed our chamber to educate the citizens of Polk County about the upcoming election and the issues and candidates on the ballot. And thank you. Since your campaign has purchased this video interview, the Florida Division of Elections does require you to disclose that fact with the following statement.
Paid by Christopher Desrochers, Republican, for Public Defender, 10th Judicial Circuit.
Awesome. Thank you. So, Christopher, starting off, will you just tell us a little bit about yourself?
Well, hello, everyone, and thank you for inviting me to this interview. My name's Christopher Desrochers, and I would certainly appreciate your vote for Public Defender in the August 20th Universal Primary. I'm a lifelong native of Polk County, and I've been involved in business and real estate ventures since I was 17. I started a law practice straight out of law school and have been a sole practitioner for about 31 years. My advertised areas of practice are business law, estate planning, and real property law. However, I do have a couple of unadvertised areas of practice, including representing criminal defendants in both state and federal court in trials and appeals. I'm also a contract attorney for the Public Defender's Office and have been for over 20 years. And I also assist in corporate reorganizations and restructurings. I am a Christian, and I was saved at the University of Florida back in 1989 while I was in law school. Yes, you can get saved at the University of Florida. It is possible. I presently attend the Solid Rock Church in Winter Haven, and I'm involved in many church and parachurch organizations. I'm married and have 2 children. I really like authentic Chinese cuisine and have been a lifelong fan of Kiss ever since I stayed up late one night as a little kid when I was 7 years old and caught their performance on the Midnight Special in 1975.
Awesome.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, well, I'll tell you, I'll just tell you a side note on that one. I thought staying up late was the cool thing that grown-ups did, okay? So I did it. And I saw the Midnight Special, and I saw a couple of episodes of it. And the first one was just these guys in like grungy outfits playing guitars and stuff. And I said, this is what grown-ups do? And then I saw Kiss, and it's like the costumes, the outfits, the makeup, flashing lights, fireworks. They destroyed their guitars. Like, yeah!
That's awesome. I love it.
I've been a fan ever since.
That's awesome. I love that. Oh my goodness. All right. Well, so starting out, what do you think is the biggest opportunity for your district in this next term?
Well, I already knew quite a bit about the Public Defender's Office from one level because I'm a contract attorney for them. I was also court-appointed counsel for many, many years before the Justice Administrative Commission sort of changed the structure, and it was not for me after that. But I really wanted to know how the clock ticked. So I went on not one, but 2 walkthroughs recently at the Public Defender's Office and personally spoke with dozens of individuals, both on the attorney side and on the support staff side of the office. I also spoke with Rex Deming himself. I spoke with a lot of folks who've been there for decades, and they are the backbone of the organization. But I also spoke with less senior staff and attorneys. In many ways, I found what I expected. On the support staff side, I found a great group of hardworking folks who, by and large, had been there forever and had formed a cohesive team and a superior corporate culture. This is very important because without an effective support staff, an attorney will get really swamped really fast and bad things start happening from there. But what I also found was a global physical production and delivery system that had not really changed a whole lot since 1998. Yes, they have computers and the internet. They can access the courtrooms. They can even text attorneys out at court with helpful hints. But a computer that's used as an electronic substitute for a filing cabinet does not take advantage of everything technology has to offer in the 21st century. And one of the things that surprised me a lot was, like I said, I quit doing court-appointed counsel back around 2010. Okay. And when I was court appointed counsel, I did a lot of trips to the public defender's office because we in the PD often represented multiple defendants in cases. And I was surprised at how much that office had not changed in 14 years. I was expecting to walk in and find everything like, my gosh, I don't recognize the place. I recognize the place totally. There was stuff there. Seriously, I think there was even decor that was there from 14 years ago. Now that can be good. That can be good, but that can also hamper a system. I learned that a lot from business and corporate reorganizations that I've done. Now, a lot has also demographically changed in Polk, Hardy, and Highlands County since 1998. Our population has increased exponentially during that time. Back in 1998, for example, hardly anyone lived in Poinciana. Okay. Today, nearly 100,000 people live there. It's a huge population center. Now, the number one complaint of defender attorneys is their caseload. And it's about doubled in the last few years to approximately 137 cases per felony defender. That's way too much. From my experience in corporate reorganizations, I instantly spotted that this issue was in great part directly linked to the way the public defender's office physically provides and delivers its services to its clients. The next public defender has the opportunity to reshape how the public defender's office operates for the next 50 years. In talking with both veteran staff members, new hires alike, even with Mr. Demi, everyone agreed that some change needed to happen. I have a plan to get the caseload down to about 70 cases per defender. Do it within budget parameters and keep the existing staff we have. We need to keep the folks who are there, okay? The assistants and the support staff that are there are wonderful, wonderful people. The plan would allow those core veterans who have been with the office, many of them for decades, to help promote and train their successors years prior to their anticipated retirement. That way, they can be part of this history-making change that benefits not only those hardworking individuals at the public defender's office, but also helps the defender clients. In addition, this prevents gaps in service and possible systems collapse when these veterans eventually retire. And let's face it, nobody wants to work there forever, okay? There may be a few that die with their boots on, but most people want to retire, okay? Finally, my plan prevents a retirement crisis and the tens of millions of dollars in additional taxpayer revenue that would normally be required to solve such a crisis. And I am ready from day one to implement those changes.
Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing.
Sure, no problem.
So with that, what do you think would be your top 2 or 3 priorities if you were elected?
Priority one has to be client service. In private world, I learned this running my own law office. I started a law office straight out of law school. If you don't provide top-notch service to your clients, your company is dead. I eventually want the public defender's office to be a place where people actually cheat on their indigency affidavits to try to get us to represent them. Okay? As part of my plan, which I'm ready to implement from day one, the complaint that folks only see their public defender when they go to court is over. I've heard that way too many times over the decades, okay? And there are easy fixes that can be implemented while staying within budget to make sure clients can have meaningful contacts with their attorney and their attorney can have meaningful contacts with their client. So the next time I hear that, I know it's just going to be balderdash from somebody who just wants to lie. Okay?
Yep.
Now, next up, we need to get the caseloads down and make this office a place where new attorneys and seasoned veterans alike beg to sign on board. Right now, the office has fewer applicants for attorney positions than spaces available. Now, here's the thing. when you have overworked workers and you can't get anyone to apply for positions, even when you create new positions, it's a sign that even outsiders know something is up with that business and they don't want to sign on board. Okay. I learned that from doing business reorgs. If you put out if you suddenly figure out we need more people because everybody's overworked and swamped, and you put a now hiring sign and you don't get 15 people to show up within 3 days, everybody on the outside knows there's something up with this place. And now you got to fix the something up. It's usually a wake-up call to the management circle. Part of my plan addresses that and uses real-world solutions to make the office a place where folks will want to submit their resumes. Okay? And that's important because we need attorneys at the public defender's office. Okay? We can't function without them. Okay? It's just like the support. We can't function without the support staff. We can't function without attorneys. And if we can't get attorneys to apply for these positions, eventually these caseloads are going to get bigger and bigger and bigger, and it's just going to be a circling problem. It's going to get worse and worse and worse. And we've got to fix this.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, thank you so much. So what do you consider the biggest challenge of the position that you're running for?
Oh, the biggest challenge to any plan like this is to do it with the funds you have. Okay. In the private sector, you can't expect additional money to drop in your lap. All right. It just doesn't happen. In the public sector, the legislature has done budget increases with the public defender's office, but in reality, those increases barely covered inflation. Arguably, they didn't. Okay. So I really don't like to have my taxes raised. So my plan uses existing resources to accomplish these goals. Fortunately, with my experience running my own law practice and assisting organizations in transition, I know how to make positive changes without requiring additional funds and keep the existing staff. That's important. It's always good to keep the existing staff, especially when you have something like the Public Defender's Office, which is essentially a company in transition. This is not a company like a Colt Crucible or a company or Kaiser Motors, where they're having serious problems and they're headed to bankrupt. That's not the Public Defender's Office, okay? But they are in transition, okay? They need to transition from a 1998 model to a 21st century model. And that transition is going to require some things. And fortunately, I can do it within budget. And that's something that I've experienced doing, because with most reorganizations, you don't get extra money to do a reorganization. You have to work with what you've got, and you don't get extra money. That's just the bottom line. And so in this case, plan to do this without any extra money.
Hey, that's awesome. So last but not least, why should voters choose you over other candidates?
Okay. As I said, I recently visited the office twice and I saw some wonderful things. There's a great team there that needs to stay as long as they want to stay. However, they need to be able to serve the massive caseload the Public Defender's Office presently has and not burn out. The physical plant, structure, and delivery method of 1998 is beginning to show its age. And for the sake of the staff and the attorneys who work there, as well as the clients, they deserve a structure that's a lot easier to use. It's a lot more worker-friendly, a lot more client-friendly. Fortunately, the Public Defender's Office, as I described below, it's not in collapse. It's doing well, but it can do a lot better, and it needs to transition into a more modern model. We can make good things a whole lot better and make it a place where attorneys beg to work and where clients cheat on their applications to try to get us to serve them. Okay. I'm ready from day one to take the Public Defender's Office into the 21st century and beyond. And I'm ready from day one to be your next public defender.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Christopher. It was
Well,
great to
thank
hear your stance and really get to hear what you're passionate about. So we appreciate that. And now, if you want, please come meet Christopher at WhistleStop. This will be on Thursday, July 18th. Union Tap Room is sponsoring. Every person that buys a ticket gets a free beer or drink with a free slice of pizza. And it can't get better than that. You get to meet the candidates, get educated, and have some food. So, I mean, it can't get better than that, right?
that reminds me of the Michigan Frog cartoon from Warner Brothers, where he couldn't get anybody for the Frog's performance. Then he wrote the sandwich sign that said free beer, and then everybody ran in.
Hey, yep, there you go. Well, we're excited to get to have you there, and just to get to meet our local community, and we're just so excited. So thank you so much. We appreciate it.
Well, and thank you for having me here today for this interview. It was a pleasure talking with you.